What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 2 of the Body Movement Podcast with me, your host, Matt Sinikowski. Coming up in just a second, my younger sister, the star of the show, PhD, physical therapist, Allison Sinikowski, the one that's going to be dropping knowledge throughout our podcast series. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe our channel down below. Early viewers, early subscribers, we really appreciate it as we begin ramping up and churning out content here for you. If you haven't already, go back, check out episode 1, where we introduced our philosophies, everything that we're going to be doing around physical therapy, pain management, optimal athletic performance, longevity in life, bettering yourself. So we tackled that in episode 1. Here in episode 2, we're talking about the specific problems with Western medicine in the healthcare system, how it's flawed, where the gaps are in the system, and how we can start tackling those challenges going forward. So we hope you enjoy the conversation, and we'll see you in the next episode. Yeah. And that leads into, that leads into the second thing that we really want to harp on. There's going to be a few overarching themes in our podcast. So one is this fundamental focus on getting your body to move. And we're going to focus on primal body movements, and we're going to teach people how the body is connected from head to toe, and how you might be experiencing pain in one part of your body, but it's because your posture, the way you use a whole different part of your body is what's causing something to mess up down the train. So we're going to focus on that. 2, we're going to, and we recorded that we attempted our first recording about this about a month ago. And I just think we were too nice to the healthcare system. So the other overarching theme is people need to understand that the health system is broke, or that the flaws in the system are over exaggerated right now, or exacerbated in the way we use it. And the healthcare system is incentivized. It's not designed to keep people in it, but it's incentivized to keep people in it.
It's a business.
It's a business.
You're not going to get away from that. I mean, it is, right. It is what it is.
Which is okay, right?
Which is okay. And you're just, unfortunately, there's times when some people are doing a good job at not making it a business and making it really about the person, but the way in which the healthcare system is set up, and we'll get into all the insurance and all of that, I know at another point, but
right.
It makes it so you, even in the heart of what you want to be doing, you can't.
Right.
Or it's the quality at which you're able to provide it. Yeah. You can't. I want people to understand how to utilize the system to benefit them, because God, there's so many good things about healthcare. Good God, Lord,
That's right.
I mean,
That's right.
I've had surgeries. We've had things happen in our family that have kept people alive.
Yes.
It's not bad to have healthcare. We need it. And there's so much great knowledge, but there's so much that is done that is knowingly and unknowingly harmful to the individuals who don't know anything.
That's right. So, and like I touched on in the back, and that you've educated me on over the years, is back pain is the number one disability in the world. And here in the West, it's talked about every day or every week in the news to some extent, of the opiate and the painkiller crisis. And it's this system that is built to, I mean, how often do you sit in the doctor's office, you're backed up 30, 40 minutes waiting past your appointment time because your doctor's so busy. You go in, you're in there for 5 minutes, and he's like, okay, I'll see you in another 6 months. And how meaningful is that interaction with him or her that is going to provide value to you? Where he or she just saw a ton of patients, they build that insurance, and then you're stuck in this system where you're in it for a year, 2, longer, 10, trying to just cope with these issues, where we're taking the approach when it comes to pain and when it comes to injuries, when it comes to nagging aches, where we can provide you with tools that will get you in and out quickly. And that goes against everything the system is incentivized. And this is a business that you're trying to build. And imagine that, where it's like, here's a healthcare provider that doesn't want your business almost. That's almost what we're saying. We want to correct you. We want to cure you. You'll pay for it. It's a business. You'll make your cut, but getting you in and out at maybe a higher upfront cost is going to save you in the long run from continuously being in that system and wearing you away and not ever really solving the issue.
Right. I mean, think of you're thinking of that 5-minute interaction that should be so that visit that you're paying for, whether you have a copay. So, you know what, maybe sometimes you don't pay for it based on your insurance, but somehow or some way you're paying for it. You're taking your time. You're, putting hope into whomever you're seeing.
Right.
And that 5-minute interaction that you don't even get your point across of why it means something to you. Why why does the back pain mean something to you? Because you can't pick up your grandkid, because you can't golf. Like, why, what is it about that?
Right.
And then, after, that 5 minutes, if it's so demotivating to you, is detrimental to your recovery. I'm going to go as far as not just that, that 5 minutes didn't mean anything. It actually makes your outcome worse of whatever you're dealing with. Because now there's so many reasons, and maybe you've lost hope because the one person you were putting all this trust into and sitting there with anxiety came in and came out and gave you nothing.
Right.
It's
yeah. And it's a bigger function of what's going on in the West and in America too. It's like we want everything to be so convenient, and we want all these quick solves. And it's like, even if we go in and that meeting is detrimental, and it's like, but I know I'm going back in 6 months for another checkup, and oh, thank God he refilled my prescriptions for another 3 months. That we're like, okay, well, I've solved it until the next time, versus taking,
or you've solved it for a short period of time, but the
in your mind, right?
Right. But the greater good of, what's it going to look like in 5 years, in 10 years, in 20 years? Like, where are you going to be if you're putting a Band-Aid on it? You're covering a leak.
Right. And, I'm coming from corporate America. It's like, where I worked in the business world, there's all this unwillingness for people in general to take the long-term approach and play the long game. And
but whose fault is that? Because that is not the individual's fault. That is the education that they're given's fault, right? So if you're going to, I think if you're educated on it, if I started taking that approach, like, shame on me, because I'm educated in this side.
That's
right. But if all you know is what you know, and this is why we're doing this, right? But if all you know is what you know, then you don't know any better. You don't know that something different exists.
Right.
And I'll give you a quick example, very quick, but just, somebody in our family was going through something, and I have 3 little kids. They're crazy.
I can confirm.
Unbelievably crazy. So twins, they're 3 and 4, but they were 2 and 3 then. And I was just feeling like crap. I knew I wasn't exercising. I knew I was eating like crap. I knew my stress level was through the roof. And I had the option of going to my primary care and telling him that I felt like crap, which would lead to test and test and test and test and test.
Right.
When I know in my heart what my issues were.
Right.
So now I was blocked enough that I couldn't change those.
But
I went to a functional medicine physician and paid out of pocket. I paid to the note of $450 for an evaluation. And it was somebody that sat there with me for 2 hours. Talked me through everything, asked me what I know, asked me what I thought, asked me it was like, okay, well, these are the things you need to change. Here's some strategy. How? You can tell that. And I would say, as a population, that's probably one thing we can do is we know, if you need to eat healthier. Come on. Like, if you're listening, like, if you need to eat healthier.
Sure.
Do you eat like crap or do you not?
Right.
Why is that? So, do you exercise or do you not? But if you don't because you're in pain and nobody's helping you bridge that gap, that's an issue. So that's that's kind of my story is I had 2 tails I could take based on the people I knew. And I could have gone with my insurance and paid nothing and went this way.
That's right.
But I didn't want to have tests because, number one, it wouldn't get to what the issue was. Right. The answer was eat more coniferous vegetables, do something for your stress management.
Right.
So I did puzzles.
Yep.
And I get my chops broke about that one. But, like, do a puzzle, stress management, make sure you sleep. Read a book of, like, why sleep is important. Like, educate yourself and that will help you change versus
Yeah.
do this. Let's give you like a medicine for that.
Yeah.
I didn't want that. So I sought something different.
That's right. And I think it's really good that you mentioned that, because while I said we're going to provide tough love to our listeners and our patients, or our listener base, we're providing it. Well, you are, because you are in the healthcare field, but we're going to provide it on ourselves too, right? Like you're calling out you and your colleagues to do better, to educate everyone. Once we grow this thing and people are listening, then it's on them to put it to practice and understand I mean, there's so much of this going on across every spectrum, but you have to stand up to the system and you have to speak up, and the way you do that is by being aware and knowledge. And that's what we want to provide to everybody here. Right.
Right. Yeah. And I think it's just that knowledge of yes, the system is there, but if you go and in your heart, you need to eat healthier,
Yep.
and you go and you get tested and you have high cholesterol, and
Yep.
nobody ever mentions eating healthier to you.
Right.
Then why the hell would you change it?
That's right. And
Because
then they put you on cholesterol meds, and then you're on those for life. Right. It's
right.
like, that's
versus
the end of
like, no, you can have this, but you also, you can't force people to do anything, right? It's America. You can't force, people to do
Of course.
most things, right?
Right.
So you can't force people to do that, but you really should consider some nutritional counseling. What's your barrier for not eating healthy?
Right.
Oh, because nobody in my house eats healthy. Okay, well, what's the barrier? Like, who makes the food?
Yeah.
How do you get it? What do you do? That's what nutritional counseling is about.
That's
And that's not a primary care's job. That's not a PT's job. There's other people that can help.
Yep.
And finding those people, or being even told those people exist,
Yep.
is crucial for how you would change that habit.